Do you have a clue really what's going on around you? What's going on in our country, or what's going on in the nations? What's going on in your city? Do you really feel like you have an understanding of what's going on in the relationships around you or in your neighborhood? Or are you one of those people who take things at face value, or who move along quickly, or who skim the surface and make judgments on the appearance of things? In 2 Corinthians chapter 10, the Apostle Paul says, we should not be people like that. Instead, in 1 Corinthians 12, he describes spirit in the list of spiritual gifts. One of them is discerning of spirits. We want to be a people who understand what's actually going on around us with the discernment of God. Hi, I'm Tom Griffith from Greater Formation. I help people when they're either in a confused state or they're moving into a time of great transition in their life. I help them get clear and get focused to be fruitful. I help people, I kind of reach in and bring their heart up in front of them so they can see what they need to address and take bold steps into the future. I help people lay a foundation for the next season of their life and possibly for the rest of their lives. I'm kind of like a football coach for your soul. Well, back to discernment. It's really important for us to understand what's going on, to first consider the source from which people are speaking. It could be that they're being inspired by God. And if so, that's something we want to pay great attention to. On the other hand, it could be that they're being inspired from the enemy. And if that's true, there really is a spiritual dynamic in this world, either heavenly or hellishly. And if they're being inspired by the enemy, we're going to respond quite differently than we would if they were being inspired by God. It could also be that they're being inspired just from themselves, from their life message, from their perspective. And we want to hear what they have to say. Or it could be that they're speaking from the voices of other people. It's almost like they're channeling. Could be their parents or their coaches or people in authority in their lives, but they're actually speaking on behalf of somebody else. So discerning the source from which people are speaking can be really valuable for us to know how to respond to them. Secondly, we need to consider what the purpose is behind what they're saying. It could be that they're speaking to convince us or to persuade us about something. And so we need to listen with a particular kind of listening lens for that. Or it could be that they're trying to manipulate us or control us or possibly deceive us. So their purpose, what they're trying to do to us, helps us understand how we might want to listen to them. It could be that they're speaking in a way to simply inform us or to speak truth to us, or truth from their perspective that we might not agree with, but they're speaking to inform. And a fourth possibility there is they could be speaking to encourage us. It could also be because they're encouraging us in truth, or because they want to encourage us, but they don't really have truth to back it up. See, what we want to do when we're discerning the source from which we're receiving the message, what's underneath that source, and we're understanding really the motivation or the purpose of that message too, helps us to understand our response or how we want to engage that message. It could be that we want to simply consider what they're saying, so we kind of get closer to listen. We want to understand. That's generally a really good posture in life. If it's something that's coming from God, or something that's maybe coming from a person, or maybe it's got truth on it, we want to be able to receive it, but we need to listen well before we can receive it. On the other hand, it could be something that we need to reject, that it's either based on falsehood, or it's based on manipulation, or it's based on something that's trying to control us. Could be that it's something coming from the enemy. Could be that it's somebody else's voice speaking through the person, and the motivation actually twice removed is what's going on, and we need to recognize it, and we want to reject that. It could even be that it's so evilly intended, or that it's so off base that we not only need to reject it, we need to resist it. We need to come against it. It's false, either for us or for others. It could do damage. See, listening well, discerning well, understanding the source of things and understanding the purpose of things, that's how you find out what's really going on. To do that, you're going to have to slow down and consider what you hear, whether it's coming through media or the written page or through somebody's voice or even from what's clamoring around in your own head. I want to encourage you, take the time, learn how to discern. It'll change your life. It can make you into a person of wisdom rather than a gossip, a person of wisdom rather than somebody who speaks shallow encouragement or shallow correction. It will increase the depth of your life. Let me ask you to consider, how well do you listen under the surface? Please make a decision even today to not be a surface listener anymore. How well do you listen under the surface? If you want to grow in that, just listen to this thing a few times. It will help you get that to develop that skill set. Again, Tom Griffith from Greater Formation. You want to check out the kind of stuff I do, go to greaterformation.com. I'll talk to you soon.